Well-known author, investment banker, consumer advocate, analyst, trader. Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street.
You want answers?
Exposing the lies and myths that the big brokerage firms, the mainstream press, and the government are pushing to keep Americans away from financial freedom.
You can't handle the truth.
Bringing America the truth about what really happens in the financial world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to indulge in fantasy, but in political and economic reality.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Hey, guys, what do you say we change directions? What do you say we change directions today here on the Watchdog on Wall Street show? And we'll just get nuts. We'll talk about meme stocks and cryptocurrencies. And we'll do buy, sell, and hold. I'll tell you what meme stocks, Markowski Investments, what the Watchdog on Wall Street is buying. Not. Oh, boy. I made the comparison that King Kong movies years ago. They keep coming out with King Kong movies. Well, they kind of changed the story now. But you do realize that, you go back to the original King Kong, then the remake of the King Kong, and the King Kong after the King Kong. The monkey dies in the end. I just gave it the monkey dies in the end. I made that comparison before, sub-referencing a lot already this morning. Groundhog Day. Bill Murray, what a phenomenal movie. I often feel like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, rather than being the weatherman, I'm the guy that's telling you what is going to happen. I'm getting emails. Again, we got a lot of new listeners out there. People asking me about meme stocks. And should they get in? I'm like, are you listening to the right program here? You're just going to end up more than likely being a greater fool. You're going to be left holding the bag. I've gone over this again and again and again, week after week, year after year, decade after decade, because that's where we're at here when it comes to Watchdog on Wall Street show. We're measuring ourselves now in decades on air. The world's second oldest profession, we all know what the oldest profession is, the world's second oldest profession are get-rich-quick con artists. We're seeing today, whether it be SPACs, whether it be cryptos, whether it be meme stocks, this is not new, okay? I've seen this movie before, and the individual investor dies in the end. Not literally, but their portfolio gets destroyed in the end. People, there's a right way to do things, and there's a wrong way to do things. It's just that simple. I know. I'm going to get them now. I'm going to get them now. I'm going to get the emails from people. Well, I made some money on the meme stock and travel. You don't know you're talking. Okay, you'll see. You'll see. Again, see, I told you so moments here on this program. They don't end well. They don't end well at all. Everything in life that has meaning, value, and worth involves work, time, and effort. I'm watching CEOs, so-called CEOs of companies, pump up their stock price like there's some sort of Jordan Belfort boiler room operator out there. Do you understand? In many respects, there are a plethora of stocks that is a complete disconnect from the company. And again, this is the type of thing that drives me absolutely insane. We try to get across here. When you're buying a stock, when you're building a portfolio, you get an ownership stake in that company. This is not a video game. You want to turn it into a video game, you're going to lose. Again, you might think I'm dull and boring and gee whiz. Kowski, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's getting old. He's like the grumpy old man. Hey, kids, get that ball off my lawn. No, I'm not. I've done this before. We were heavily criticized in the 1990s, warning people about .coms and what was going to happen. We warned you about the real estate bubble. We've managed to do quite well over the past couple decades and then some, managing people's money the right way. You need to learn how to go about navigating financial storms, corrections, volatility. You need to understand, you need to grasp, you need to be able to recognize serious risk. You need to be able to discern the difference between conventional wisdom, the conventional wisdom of the day, and the reality of the terrain. This is what we do. You know, I saw this story this past week. I actually had some of our listeners out there email me this story. Like, Chris, you were talking about this. Yeah. Actually, a story out there. What was it? The Wall Street Journal wrote about this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was had to do with DoorDash. DoorDash and Uber Eats. And this is the headline. DoorDash and Uber Eats are hot. They're still not making money. Now, again, I want to use this as an example. We've done this before. Eventually, you have to get in the black. I don't care what the CEO says. I don't care how many times he appears on CNBC or how many tweets he puts out or how cool, and I'm using air quotes, cool his company is or how much you like it, the ease of using it. I get it. A lot of people they're staying at home during the pandemic, working from home. You know what? Let's call up Grubhub. Let's call up DoorDash. Let's call up Uber Eats and have that food delivered. You would, again, boom times for delivery companies, right? Boom. Yet they still can't make money. They still can't make money. Yeah, I have conversations, various different places, talking. People ask me questions about companies, and certain ones will come up. And I remember telling somebody, this is a year or two ago, about Uber, and I tried to explain to them that Uber's never made a dime. They've never shown a profit. They've been around for over 10 years. They didn't believe me. Again, I'm scratching my head. You've got the guy, let's pretend we're in Vietnam or Southeast Asia somewhere, and we get that picture in our mind of the guy with the rickshaw, pulling the people around, getting people around on the rickshaw, using his legs, his muscles, to move people from point A to point B. That guy makes more money than Uber does. Again, this is part of the problem. As I continue to sub-reference, I use Seinfeld, George Costanza working for Kroger Industrial Smoothing, which was an absolutely ridiculous company, did a horrible job. The CEO didn't know what the good one was, the red or the black. Right now, in this little point in time, okay, we're back to that area where it doesn't matter whether you're in the red and the black. It matters whether or not you're a meme stock and you're hot at this point in time. You understand, people, that the music will stop. Okay? The music will stop. It's not a matter of if, okay? It's just a matter of when. If you're willing to take on that risk, you think you're smart enough to try this, God bless you. God bless you. But guess what? We don't participate in that nonsense. We don't participate in that type of nonsense. We're interested in building up wealth. That's what we're interested in. And you don't build up wealth. We got into this in great detail last week on the show. Financial planning rules. By acting like a degenerate gambler. Listen, I explained, fine. You've built up a portfolio. You want to take a small percentage of that portfolio and you want to put it into some meme stock or cryptocurrency. Okay. But you do that knowing and dealing with the fact that you could lose it all. You understand that losses they can destroy you when you're trying to build up wealth. You have a portfolio that's worth, a certain amount of money. You're down by 50%. Again, think about that. You need to see 100% just to get back to where you were. You think that's quick? That's easy to do in a short period of time? I dealt with this same type of nonsense when Markowski Investments first started up. Again, to show you how our age. That was the golden age of boiler rooms. That's when Belfort was in business and all those guys. And we went out of our way to contact those people to get them out, to try to explain to them what was going to happen. That was when we started our account repair program, which we still have, still available. And we'd bring accounts in. This is what happened. Somebody would lost their shirt, which, Stratton Oakmont or Duke and Company or some other garbage firm out there, whatever it may be. We bring them in, and they're down 50%, if not more. And we'd say to them, hey, you know what? This is what we're going to do. Okay, this is how we're going to build your account back up. And we'd give them time frames. So let's take it. They didn't want to deal with it. Many of them, no. They wanted to go back and do the same thing that they were doing that got them in that horrible position in the first place. Wait, I'm sorry, people. We're not going to show you doubles and triples on your money overnight. We're not going to be getting involved in meme stocks trying to guess what's going to happen next with some Yahoo CEO. Rather than managing his or her company properly, they end up just trying to pump their stock up, a la Stratton Oakmont and all the boiler room operations. Not what we do. Okay? Not what we do. And I'm going to ask a favor, okay? Don't contact me, okay, if you've got questions about meme stocks. Sorry, I don't have time. I don't have time. You want help. You want to build up your portfolio properly. You want to get involved in our personal CFO program. You want to have access to our accountants, our lawyers. You want to deal with real life. What's going to happen with the tax code? Is the 1031 exchange going away? All these different things. You know what? Go to my website at watchdogonwallstreet.com and sign up for it. We're here to help. Now, granted, okay, if you've gotten yourself involved in some of this stuff and you're losing money, yeah, we're going to help you build it back up. But I'm just here to tell you, okay, it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be overnight, okay? I'm not a magician. I'm not Midas here. Nobody is. That's what you need to understand. Nobody is. There's a right way and a wrong way to doing things. And again, I'll say it. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. I'm getting all excited about this, but I know what's going to happen. Okay? The monkey's going to die in the end. Everything in life that has meaning, value, and worth involves work, time, and effort. Get to our website, watchdogonwallstreet.com. Sign up, personal CFO program, all sorts of great stuff there at the site. Take advantage of everything we have. watchdogonwallstreet.com or give us a call, 800-471-5984.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Welcome back, everybody. I had this again. I love my listeners out there. Hey, Chris, look at this story. Listen, I appreciate it. People paying attention here to the program. I get a story sent. What was this? The Greenwich Times. Greenwich Times was this article. One way companies are concealing higher prices smaller packages. Consumers are paying more for a growing range of household staples in ways that don't show up on receipts. Thinner rolls, lighter bags, smaller cans as companies look to offset rising labor and materials costs without scaring off customers. Thank you. Yeah, we told you that this was going to happen. Again, you might even be noticing it when you go out to eat at a restaurant. Portions smaller, whatever it may be. The lie that's been pushed on you by the powers that be, that there's no inflation, is patently absurd. Costco came out and said that, hey, inflationary factors abound. This is from their CFO. These include higher labor costs, higher freight costs, higher transportation demand, along with the container shortage and port delays, increased demand in various product categories, some shortages, various shortage of everything from chips to oils and chemical staples by facilities hit by yada, yada, yada. How about hit by all the money printing that's taken place, huh? How about hit by that as well? We try to get across, because, again, this has been one of the more, and I freely admit, it's one of our greatest challenges. Okay, what we do as financial planners and helping people prepare for their future. And that's what we do. Don't think of it so much as planning. Okay, I've talked about this. The concept of financial planning. Is it that phrase, you want to make God laugh? Tell him your plans. We try to prepare you for all sorts of things. And the greater your preparation, the more opportunities you're going to have in life, the more doors you're going to have. You understand? That's what we do. One of the biggest challenges that we have had, putting together people's and working with people in regards to their preparation, is what? Inflation. Inflation. It's been here for a while. It's just now getting worse instead of better. And what has driven me bonkers is to watch these people, these powers that be, on television tell you it's transitory. Or the Federal Reserve saying, let's see it out here. The inflation's been muted for a long period of time. Really? And that was kind of like Ben Bernanke saying. Ben Bernanke saying in 2007, that the subprime crisis has been contained? Sure thing, Ben. Can anybody point to when the Fed, I go back to Alan Greenspan, Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen is now Treasury Secretary, when they've been right about anything? You remember back in the day when Alan Greenspan would come, they'd have the Fed meeting, and CNBC would be joking, looking at the briefcase indicator. How thick is his briefcase? What's he going to do with rates? They can't get inflation under control. They can't raise rates. You raise rates, you really blow up the United States budget. And we'll get into Biden's budget a little bit later on in the program. Biden is basically, in his budgets, they're already preparing that they're not going to be paying. It's basically money for nothing moving forward. How is this good? We're told, this is wonderful. This is great. Low interest rates, low mortgage rates. People, do you understand that there's an adjustment based upon that? You get it? There's a massive adjustment based upon that. You understand how difficult this is for people who want to save and put money away? The complete lack. There's just nothing out there when it comes to good, safe yields. You buy U.S. Treasuries, you're losing. You are losing money. The value of your money, the value of money is dropping at a greater rate than the interest that you're getting. Do you understand that this is problematic? Again, we deal with it here on the program. That's what we do. Get your do your preparation properly. Get to our website, watchdogonwallstreet.com. Watchdogonwallstreet.com, our personal CFO program. It's our 24-hour day help hotline, 800-471-5984.
But I can't help but have my suspicion, 'cause I ain't quite as dumb as I seem. And you said you was never intending to break up our scene in this way.
You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street. The only man who is taking on the Wall Street establishment. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
I forgot to mention this earlier. You know how many producers out there for various different television shows and radio shows sending me, Chris, can you come on to talk about meme stocks and what you're buying? And I'm like, do you do any homework at all? Do you have any idea who you're speaking to? Are you nuts? Anyway, I'm going to kind of go back to what we were talking about, the world's second oldest profession, get rich quick con artists. And I know I've told this story before on the program, long time ago when first was involved, basically, first couple years in the business, went through the training program, and I'm working at this big firm, desks as far as the eye could see. And this is back in the old days. Yeah, the tickers are up there. No computer on my desk in regards to, clients and holdings and all of that. Everything was paper, and you would record everything in your book. And that was what you called it, your book of business, because it was an actual binder with all the information on your clients. And, getting called in, my brother Michael and I were building up our client base. We're doing the right thing. Our clients are doing well. Very, very happy. So we get called into the sales manager's office. And this fella, I can use that term loosely, big, huge, hulking guy. He probably is 6'2", 6'4". He's a big guy, probably about 230, 240 pounds. And calls us in. He gets on the microphone. Again, think about this big, huge room. Big, huge room. Well, Markowski Brothers, please report to Jeff's office. Bring your book. I'm like, oh, boy. So we go in, we bring our book. He sits down. He starts, let's just put it this way. He starts patting us on the back, telling us what a great job we're doing, bringing in new clients and, all this money that was coming into the firm, and our assets under management continued to rise. Then he starts looking at our book, and he flipping pages. And then he's like, guys, I'm going to teach you guys how you're going to make a lot of money in this business, how you're going to do well. And you sell this, you move this here, and you move this here. And he basically wanted us to take our entire client base and churn them and burn them. And we wanted no part of that. Okay, this is my boss. This is my boss. And you got to understand how my boss is getting paid. Okay? The boss is getting paid based upon the commissions, because again, this is back in the day, commissions. The commissions that were generated by the floor, the people that he managed. And he obviously wanted to make more money, so he didn't care about our clients. All he cared about us was generating commissions. And again, who knew? I didn't know. I was naive. Again, just starting out in the business, you have this this idea about Wall Street that doesn't mesh with reality. And he basically told us something after screaming and yelling at us because we refused to do what he told us to do, that we would never make it in this business. And quite frankly, he's like, very, very frank. He's like, you know what? And he said something. It was like, that money is not your client's money. It's your money. And I'm, what? And again, at that point in time, my brother and I said, okay, we got to get the hell out of here. We got to get the hell out of here. I can't do this. Again, it was a real difficult time. Real difficult time. We left that firm, and we did something illegal. We told our clients, yeah, we did. We told our clients, you're not allowed to do this, believe it or not. Told our clients that they should transfer their accounts out. Get your money out of here. These people are bad. Now, we didn't tell them to transfer to us because what we knew what was going to happen, they couldn't. I knew that the firm was going to hold up our licensing, wouldn't let us work anywhere else for an extended period of time. I knew that they were going to sue us. They did everything that I knew that they were going to do. But again, we broke, in essence, it's how Wall Street and the rules work. We broke the law by telling our clients to get out, to go somewhere else. Actually, we were sued. I had to go to arbitration against this horrible firm, which is now out of business. Had to go to arbitration, and we won. Even though we broke the law by trying to save our clients, okay, we won. Always do the right thing. That's something that, again, be good, do good. Something it's our fiber. That's what we're about here at the Watchdog on Wall Street Show and Markowski Investments. I just, share with you this story. I know I've shared it before here on the program. Just to help you to understand, again, what's out there. It hasn't changed. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you don't have the books of business anymore. But the sales manager Jeffs, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. We see it every day. We get client after client after client, people being ripped off and scammed. Well, we're trying to rebuild what these other people have wrecked. By listening to this program, what we've tried to do is, we want you to avoid all of that. Got to take a break. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Become a part of the Watchdog on Wall Street family at Markowski Investments, our personal CFO program, all sorts of great stuff. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com, or give us a call, 800-471-5984.
You should believe in math, not magic. You're listening to The Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Oh, boy. I don't know if you remember. I think it was last month. Maybe, I don't know. Was it maybe April, May? I can't remember exactly when we talked about this on the program. When we discovered the deli in Paulsboro, New Jersey. Yes, deli. I was one talking about this deli because they make a great prosciutto sandwich by any stretch. Hometown Deli. We were talking about this is because this Hometown Deli was a publicly traded company. Yeah, had over $100 million valuation. That's right, $100 million valuation. You know what its sales were last year? $30,000. That was its sales, $30,000. That's okay. That's okay because guess what? The scams keep coming. There's a company. I'm not making this up, people. This is the crap that's out there. E-Waste, E-Waste, it is a shell company which is linked to this Hometown Deli. They are going to get in. Wait to hear this. A reverse merger with a privately held electric vehicle corporation called Easy R.A. Eider Global. Yeah. This is, again, some sort of green company. And again, if you're gonna pull a scam off, you might want to attach some sort of sustainable or green to it, because again, certain people out there that they just love that stuff, and the media loves it. Oh, it's the green company. It's gonna make electric vehicles. Right. I'm not making this up. This is what we deal with. This is what goes on. These are the type of crooks that are out there. One would ask themselves, how come the SEC and FINRA, why do they allow stuff like this? I'll explain to you people. The SEC and FINRA, they're not cops on the beat. They're not, okay? They come in after the fact and then levy a fine. That's what they do. They don't prevent anything. Never have, never will. And in fact, quite honestly, they give investors a false sense of security. Anyway, I got a plethora of ripoffs and scams we got to get to. We're going to take a quick break right here, though. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street. Bringing America financial freedom one listener at a time. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
How those SPACs working out for you? How those SPACs working out for you? You know what kind of aggravates me about these whole special purpose. I always screw that up. Special purpose acquisition companies and this whole scam. You know what drives me nuts about it is that my favorite place to see a concert that I've ever seen is at, it's called SPAC, the Saratoga Performing Arts Center. It's in upstate New York. I'm kind of aggravated that this latest investment scam is called a SPAC. Competition among so-called blank check companies to find mergers is already stiff. Share price declines and a ticking clock to take companies public are ratcheting up the pressure. The new challenges for creators of special purpose acquisition companies result in part from the abundance of deals that raised money in early 2021. Looming over these firms is a 2-year deadline, to do a deal to hand cash back to the investors. Do you know that some of the people that have been pushing these SPACs out there are now looking for some sort of protection? They can't lose. Here's a bit of a tip when you're doing business or you're looking at business, or Wall Street is trying to sell you the latest get-rich-quick scheme out there that they've got from their financial engineers. Yeah, see what they're putting at risk. See what they're risking. Because the people putting these SPACs together can't lose. No matter what, they make money. Wall Street has managed to do that when they talk about financial engineers. What they've managed to craft now are, in essence, riskless transactions for themselves. Who bears the risk? You do. You do. What I'm suggesting to you is don't be a greater fool. Don't be a sucker. Saw this story. Again, we know this takes place. It's what they do at bond desks, okay? They're basically kings. Oh, yeah, bond traders, they are kings. They set the prices, and in fact, they collude with one another. UBS and Nomura were just fined $450 million for their bond cartel chat room collusion. What, you think that they're the only ones? I think we mentioned this on the program. Citigroup, Royal Bank of Scotland, J.P. Morgan. Yeah, they what did they pay? They paid over $1 billion. Over $1 billion to settle this. Again, this is these big firms rigging the game, rigging the system. Again, we know this happens. We know this exists. We just choose not to do business with these bad guys. Why would you? Again, for the life of me, and I know I've said this before, and I'm repeating myself, which I often do. Why in the world would you ever work with one of these big banks, one of these big brokerage houses out there that claim to be financial advisors? They're not. They're not. They do not put your interests above their own. The main interests of these big banks and these big brokerage firms is their bottom line. To make as much money as possible, to make their stock go up, which is fine. You own stock in the company. And I stays back and I say, why would you ever have an account at one of those firms? I understand owning the stock in the company because they're profitable. And they've managed to craft the business where, hey, they're too big to fail. Think about that. But to let these people manage your money? It's just silly. Saw this as well. Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch is now banning trainee brokers from making cold calls. I don't know. I guess they're going to try to use LinkedIn and whatnot. Now, I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to go out and they're going to this is what they do now. A lot of these big firms is they go to find people that are wealthy. Okay, these are these advisors that they bring in. Most of them never had a real job in their life. They go off to college and they actually recruit based upon their family and whether or not their family has money. And that's when they bring their family's money over and they figure that their family's got friends and they're going to bring them in that way. It's the country club, golf club way of bringing people in. Hey, if it works for them, fine. Works for them, fine. But again, eventually, not a matter of if, not a matter of when, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. That's their business model. That's what they do. I want to talk a little bit about hedge funds here. I saw this story. New York hedge fund guy here. Guy was involved, again, he was on the business networks, go-to guy out there. What was his name? Kamensky? He's his hedge fund, Marble Ridge. You love the names that come up with Marble Ridge. Daniel Kamensky, he, guess what? He got in trouble. Got in trouble because he was trying to tinker around with the Neiman Marcus bankruptcy proceedings, where he was going to buy their assets, and he actually threatened another bank saying, you can't do that. I'm going to, push back on this. I want to buy these assets at a certain price. And you know what he chalked it up to? He chalked it up to the pressure. The pressure of running Marble Ridge. You know what the pressure is the fact that you suck at what you do. Okay? You suck at what you do and you overcharge. The pressure is that his clients are going to leave because you can't manage money properly. That's what the pressure was. And that's why he had to lie, cheat, and steal. Again. How long have we been talking about this? Anyway, watchdogonwallstreet.com. Watchdogonwallstreet.com. Get there. Take advantage of all the great stuff we have. Our personal CFO program, account repair kits, newsletter, all sorts of great stuff. Watchdogonwallstreet.com. We'll be back.
Lord, you know what I mean?
You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street. Well-known author, investment banker, consumer advocate, analyst, trader. Chris Markowski is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
You want answers?
Exposing the lies and myths that the big brokerage firms, the mainstream press, and the government are pushing to keep Americans away from financial freedom.
You can't handle the truth.
Bringing America the truth about what really happens in the financial world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to indulge in fantasy, but in political and economic reality.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Yes, it is. Welcome back, everybody. One, the only, the Watchdog on Wall Street show. Did some financial prep. We talked about what to look out for, what to avoid, ripoffs and scams. We had to get into some of the big stories, domestic issues, and also some of the international ones as well. We cover these things on the program because they actually matter. Rather than, the nonsense that most of the business programs out there are pushing on you, the buy, sell, and hold crap. No. Issues that face the country, which will eventually face American business, international business, which then translates into how it's going to go about affecting your portfolio. What's really important. I want to start off today because this is going to be an issue. It is. And I'm still trying to get my arms around how this is going to be handled, how we are going to handle this as a nation. How, again, I've already had to deal with over the years, rules coming down from the Securities and Exchange Commission in regards to electronic transmissions, cybersecurity, all of this stuff, okay? But to watch what's taking place right now, I'm being honest with you, people. I'm embarrassed. I am. I'm embarrassed. We have the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack. We have that. Now we got JBS meat processing plant attacked, cyber attack. Latest couple I heard, you had the Martha's Vineyard Ferry. They got attacked. New York City subways, they got attacked. What is aggravating to me is that this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen at all. Basically, what you need to do is you need to take a look at critical infrastructure. Yeah. Transportation, food, energy, water supply. And you need to take them offline. There's no reason for them to be online. None. Well, you know what? Maybe the powers that be will make it easier on the executives and the government and all this stuff. No. You want to have an intranet? That's it. Nothing from the outside gets in. Nothing leaves. That's how you solve the problem. Again, it's going to be, it's a reality. Again, you get more and more colleges and universities out there talking about cybersecurity. But again, we're the United States of America. We spend close to $800 billion, and that's just what we know about on our military budget. And we're getting kicked around by a bunch of hackers. Again, the narrative out there, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it either. It's the Russians doing it. Right. Whenever we can't handle something, whenever something that somebody want to believe something, we'll blame Russia. We don't like that Donald Trump as president. Russia got him elected. Really? Really? And again, if it is Russia, then what does that say about all the money we spend on defense? Huh? We're obviously wasting it. Okay, you have to think about this, okay? What's that? The bomb, the neutron bomb is the one that if you drop it, it basically turns everything back to the Stone Age. You understand? These people are capable of getting involved in these systems. What if they took down a power grid? What if they took down the power grid for the Northeast? What would happen? What would happen? You're talking about a disaster. They're going to demand, you know what? You got to pay this amount of money and pay it in cryptos. Because that's what cryptos are really good for bad guys. They are. You pay these ransoms, they're paying them in cryptos. And that's where we're at this point in time. We can't handle it. We're so ill-equipped as a nation when it comes to this, which is just pathetic and sad. that we're paying off all these hackers. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be. We got to talk about taxes a little bit here. First and foremost, okay. I'm not an accountant. Not an accountant. Even if I stayed at a Holiday, a Holiday Inn Express, I couldn't wake up in the morning and handle the tax code. I would lose my mind. However, we have the best in the business working with us. That's just the reality. We have the best in the business working with us when it comes to taxes. And it's part of our personal CFO program. Part of Biden's budget is he wants to get rid of the 1031 exchange. This is going to have quite the effect, to be quite honest with you, on many real estate investors out there. What is a 1031 exchange, if you're not familiar? If you sell a piece of property, and you make money on that property. You don't have to pay capital gains on the money you made if you take that money and you roll it into another property. Again, it's how a lot of these big real estate investors can build up massive portfolios. It was originally put together to help out family farmers. It's obviously gotten much, much bigger. Many people out there are going to have to be dealing with this moving forward. Okay, if you have questions, we're here to help you with this. Or on the same topic of taxes, the hypocrisy that's out there, again, is driving me absolutely insane as well. There was a story talking about how all these Hollywood studios out there and how they go about, in essence, running the money that they make from their films through all of these foreign corporations and subsidiaries all over the place. They actually said that, Viacom, Paramount, actually hid $4 billion. $4 billion in taxes that they didn't pay based upon doing this. Now, again, and the reason why I bring this up is the hypocrisy out there. These same people that are actors and actresses in this movie that are making fortunes are the ones that are telling everybody that they need to pay more in taxes. Now, again, I'm not being honest. If you find a legal way of not paying these taxes, which they're doing, fine. You're not breaking any laws. I think it's one of the scams called a Dutch sandwich. Remember, U2 got caught using it. They didn't do anything illegal. It's found ways of funneling their money through these corporations, moving it from one country to another, and they don't have to pay taxes. I just don't like the fact that they're telling us that we have to pay a ton of taxes. And this is the issue. This is the issue when it comes to taxes, is that, no, you can't do what these big businesses are doing. You can't do what U2 is doing. That's the problem. Okay, we've got a tax code that is 70,000 plus pages long and then some. And it grows. And it grows. And it grows. And you'll get these politicians that'll come up to a podium telling you about people paying their fair share and all this crap. You know what's really going to hit? Is the middle class. The middle class and the upper middle class. They're the ones that are going to take the hit on all of these tax increases. Oh, it's $400,000 or more. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Yeah, you go back and you take a look at the history of taxes, like the alternative minimum tax. The alternative minimum tax was there just to get the super duper 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 rich. Right. How's that working out for everybody now? Again, this is where politicians, you need to understand this is where politicians get all of their power from, the tax code. The tax code and the Federal Registry, where they are able to say, hey, we can regulate your buttocks out of business unless you cut us a check. Hey, cut us a check. Maybe we'll stick a loophole in the tax code that will benefit you. They ever call you up and ask you for money and say, hey, we'll put a tax break in there for you? No, you don't. They're not interested in you. You can't cut a big enough check. You can't do it. You're not getting invited. Let's be honest. You're not getting invited to the cocktail hour in Georgetown with the fishbowl in the middle where you're expected to drop your check in as soon as you walk in. Sorry, folks. So again, I was happy to see this. Good for Ireland. Ireland basically told, and I use this example. I used it on the podcast as well. The movie, The Breakfast Club. You remember Judd Nelson's character? I think his name was Bender. And he had this scene in the movie where he's holding his fist out with his middle finger pointed downward. And he shows it to I think he shows it to, was Emilio Estevez's character. I forget that kid's name. He goes, "Do you hear this? Shall I turn it up?" Well, that's what Ireland did, and good for them. That's what Ireland did to the United States, us, Joe Biden, Janet Yellen, and their idea of, hey, we got to have a global minimum tax. Yeah, we got to stop this race to the bottom. Yeah, Ireland gave us the finger. Good for them. Good for them. I don't know if you're taking a look because Ireland's corporate tax rate is 12.5%. Ireland was a landing spot for many U.S. businesses during the Obama administration. Not wanting to pay the highest corporate tax rate in the world and say, we're out of here. We're going to Ireland. We're going to drink some Guinness. It's going to be fine over here. What do you think? They're going to change that? No. No, you got countries around the globe that are rooting for Joe Biden to raise taxes. Go, Joe, raise those taxes because they know they're going to benefit. Companies will just pick up and move. And I don't blame them. I can't blame them. Another thing about the Biden budget and some of the tax increases that he's proposing, guess what? The capital gains hike that he wants to put into play, 43.4%, all-time high. He wants to do it retroactively. Yeah, it's going to apply to all gains on assets sold after the American Families Plan in April. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you letting people prepare for that moving forward. Again, you need to understand, again, it's just not just donkeys, it's elephants too. Donkeys, elephants believe that all money that exists in the world belongs to them. Belongs to them. We're just peasants, and they're just letting us keep some. That's how they operate. Capital gains rate, think about it, 43+%. Oh, yeah. It's going to encourage me to invest in things. Right. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. Again, get all the help you need there. Sign up for our personal CFO program, our accountants, our attorneys, and, of course, us. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com or give us a call, 800-471-5984.
Never had a doubt in the beginning.
Taking Wall Street's liars, crooks, and cheats out behind the woodshed. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street.
I mean, you have to at least hand it to the Biden administration. In comparison to the Obama administration, they're telling you right there in their budget, in the proposals that they're putting forward, that we're not growing much. Yeah, again, if you don't believe me, look at Biden's budget yourself. It's like going into the season, like a sports season, saying, you know what, guys, we're just going to lose. We got no shot. We're just going to lose. It is what it is. Sorry, folks. Yeah, basically, you would describe the numbers that are in Biden's budget. A good way of putting it is, secular stagnation. Yeah. This is back, Obama basically talked about this too, after they gave up. Again, I got to go back in time a little bit. I remember being on the air. This is when I had an afternoon drive time radio show in Tampa for 3 hours as well. I was doing a ton of radio. And I remember Biden coming out and calling it recovery summer. It's going to be recovery summer. Oh, yeah, recovery summer. And then they everything that they kept throwing at the economy, all their big government plans just kept falling flat on their face and didn't work. And then they eventually came up with the fact that, that's when they were into, you didn't build that. And guess what? Manufacturing's never going to come back to the United States. And we just got to accept the fact that we're not going to see growth anymore. Well, that's what Biden is saying. Again, at least he's being honest. They are predicting lower than 2% growth. That's right. Oh, for the next couple years, because you're recovering from the pandemic, yeah, they're expecting okay growth. But they're actually calling over the next 8 years an average below 1.9%. Yay, USA, 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 USA. Are you kidding me? You have got to be kidding me. This is what we can hope for? Well, again, yeah. If you're going to expand the welfare state, if you're going to expand the size of government, again, his budget is, 25% of our existing GDP, my friends. This is what you're going to get. Biden as well. I'm picking on Biden today. Biden came out and he pledged to root out anti-competitive business practice and ease construction material shortages and transportation backups. I do declare, I do decree. How are you going to do that, Joe? How are you going to do that? Yeah, well, I can tell you how. I can tell you how, and this is pretty much the cure for most problems. Get the hell out of the way. Get out of the way. Please do not get the government involved. The government makes things worse. Just get out of the way. Another thing about, I mentioned this earlier on in the program. Again, all this stuff's important. All this stuff's important to your planning, to your preparation. He's basically saying, hey, he's telling the Fed, hey, listen, guys, you're going to have to keep real interest rates negative moving forward. Yeah, he's not calling it any sort of chance that rates are going to go up. And again, they're not. They're not. The idea that the Federal Reserve is some sort of independent agency is nuts. Okay? It's nuts. That's not going to happen. They're not going to be raising rates anytime soon. And again, for all of you people out there that are cheering on, we need this latest budget, and we need to get an infrastructure plan through. It's going to be good. It's going to create jobs. Yeah. Again, if you actually take a look at the infrastructure that they're proposing, do you know that, I don't know if you're aware of this, there is a group out there. It's the White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council. Yeah. I'm going to say it again. The White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council. And this group, okay, this group is 26. Oh, you got 3 members of the administration and 26 progressives. Yeah. You want to know one of the progressives? You want to know the name of her organization? People Organized in Defense of Earth and Her Resources. Well, yeah, they're already blacklisting certain infrastructure projects. You know what kind? Roads. I guess because they're there, they say it doesn't benefit the poor. What? Again, I couldn't make this stuff up if I wanted to. These quote, end quote, infrastructure projects that you think you're going to get are getting blacklisted by environmental groups. Oh, you know what we're going to have charging stations everywhere. Charging stations. Is that all we're going to do? Because you know what? The roads in this country, the infrastructure is crumbling. And now you're saying we can't fix it, but you're telling us you're going to fix it? Yeah, it's getting to be a bit tedious, if you ask me. Anyway, have to take a break here. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Take advantage of all the great stuff we have. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com, our personal CFO program. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street. This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Welcome back, everybody. I got to talk about, I know a lot of people out there, and I start using my funny voices, and I start making fun of green stuff. Listen, I'm not a Republican. I'm a conservative. I'm a libertarian. And the word conservative, what? Conserve. Conserve. Do I want the cleanest air and water possible? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And I think that there are some common sense ways of getting better. And you got to also understand as well the reality of the world around us. People don't like living in filth. They don't like living in filth. So the best way to clean up the environment is to create more wealthy people, to create wealthier countries. One of the, who's really cheering right now when it comes to our policy, when it comes to oil and natural gas, are the Saudis and the Russians. They're thrilled. They're thrilled. They love Joe Biden. They love his administration. So, you mean you're going to stop pumping oil and gas out of the ground? Oh, great. We're going to continue. We are going to continue. The third most profitable company in the entire world is Aramco. Do you have any idea how much money these nations make? You know where all this wealth comes from? These people with these mega yachts? Come on, people. We become energy independent. Energy independent. Again, think about this. Go back to the 1970s and remember OPEC and oil and gas lines and all that stuff. We became energy independent. We could have been exporting oil and gas all over the globe. Because I'm going to let you in on a little secret, okay? There are areas of the world that we need to develop. We need to develop. Let's use sub-Saharan Africa as an example, okay? Do you think that people in Nigeria are going to be buying Teslas anytime soon? Do you see them buying electric cars anytime soon in these areas of the world? Not to mention, if I think about the United States right now, we can't even protect ourselves from hacks. You're going to go to an all-electric grid, are you? Gee, boy, that'd be fantastic. We all have electric cars, and they shut the grid down, and we can't go anywhere as well. Might we want to think some of this stuff through? You know that there are cities out there? Yeah, it shouldn't surprise you. San Francisco, New York, Seattle, Denver. Many of them have either enacted or proposed measures to ban or discourage the use of fossil fuels in new homes. That means no natural gas. Are you kidding me? You want to eliminate natural gas? You have states out there actually enacting laws to prevent municipalities from declaring and decreeing this stuff, and rightfully so. I mean, we can't use logic and reason when it comes to energy policy. We can't. You're going to just eliminate things. You're going to take things off the table. Yeah, I want to remind everybody. You want your electric cars. You think your electric cars are fine. Fine. That's okay. The technology is amazing. But let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest. It's pretty much a toy for wealthy people. It's pretty much a toy for wealthy people. It is what it is. We don't have enough rare earth materials to even come close to getting where Biden tells us we're going to go. We don't have the mines to do this. It takes 15 years to get many of these mines online if you want to also include the exploration that's involved. Last week on the program, we touched on this and the god-awful conditions at many of these cobalt mines that are in Africa. Yes, children digging in holes. So I'm here to tell you, people, I want the cleanest earth possible too. But man, we can't go off the deep end. Anyway, take a quick break. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. Again, take advantage of all the great stuff we have there at our site. Personal CFO program, all sorts of great stuff. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com or give us a call, 800-471-5984.
The only man who is taking on the Wall Street establishment. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Again, our goal here is to tell you the way it is. Explain to you what's going on. Cut through all of the conventional wisdom, the bull excrement, the narratives that are being shoved down your throat by the Watchdog on Wall Street axis of evil, big business, politicians, and the mainstream media. Now, again, a lot of what we go over here on the program, oftentimes it's difficult to swallow. And when you look at it, things from afar, you're like, well, you know what? I'm not going to invest. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to expand my business. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Wrong. Okay, I'm not a gloom and doom person. Okay? I'm not a gloom and doom person. I always try to look at the way, basically look at the way things are and try to utilize it to my advantage. You may not like I said, I may not like what's going on. Okay? But I'll deal with it. Let me give you an example. My son this past week, big lacrosse game that they had to play, and they don't have not a very deep team. They're doing very well, but they're not a very deep team. 3 of their starters are going to be out. 3 of their starters are going to be out for this game, very important game. And my son's kind of, shrugging his head, I got 3 starters out for this game. And I did a bit. I didn't grab him and smack him upside the head, Don Corleone style, like Godfather 1 to Johnny Fontaine. But I gave him a bit of pep talk. I said, Stephen, it is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. So what is the point in getting yourself bent out of shape about it? Don't. Deal. One of my favorite books of all time. Yeah, interestingly enough, it was the first book I bought for my son, Stephen. It's Oh, the Places You'll Go. And there's a part in that book where, they talk about how you're doing well. Everything is going well, and you're taking a lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. Sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly by. You'll be left in a lurch. And then you come down from the lurch, unpleasant bump. You'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you stay out or do you go in? You get so confused, you'll start to race down all sorts of long, wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace. You'll grind for miles across weirdest wild space, headed for, that's where I'm getting to, the waiting place. People just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mall to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, waiting for their hair to grow. Everybody just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite. Waiting for wind to fly a kite, waiting for around for Friday night, perhaps for their Uncle Jake, waiting for a pot to boil, a better break, a string of pearls, a pair of pants, a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone just waiting. Don't live in the waiting place. Deal with the terrain as it is. Watchdog on WallStreet.com, Watchdog on WallStreet.com. I'll be back.
You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street. You should believe in math, not magic. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Yeah, I talk about the waiting place. Yeah, how many, again, emails that we get from listeners all over the country. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm brutally honest with everybody here, and we cover very, very important issues here on this program. We get into politics, but when people they send me messages, let's go back to post-election, and Republicans, people on the right, that's it. We're all going to die, going to hell in a handbasket. Things are going to never be. I'm like, I can't participate in that. I can't. I've got 3 kids. And I want them to grow up and live in a world where they can succeed beyond their wildest dreams. They also have to have the ability to fail too, because they go hand in hand. I refuse to accept defeat. I refuse to lie down. I refuse to wait. Waiting for a better political environment, waiting for a better tax code, waiting for a better this. I can't. So don't sit in the waiting place. Anyway, let's get into some of the business stories I want to talk about. I actually could have talked about this under ripoffs and scams. WeWork lost $2 billion in the first quarter of 2021. $2 billion. This company wants to go public. Yeah, that crooked guy who started the company, they actually paid him another $200 and something million to just kind of go away. WeWork right now, and their CEO is pitching their stock. He's pitching their brand. They want to go public. His job is not to make a sustainable company. His job is to convince enough people out there that they're going to have a sustainable company and they're going to make money on the stock. He can't tell you when that company's going to make money. Can't. It's a bloody black hole, for crying out loud. But that's okay. That's okay. Wall Street will continue to pitch it. Wall Street will take the company public, knowing that it's a piece of garbage. Knowing it. It takes me back in time. And again, we were the only we were the only media outlet actually covering the fact that the big brokerage firms back in the 1990s, their analysts were putting out buy recommendations on companies. And then you find their internal emails. And in their internal emails, they're talking to each other about what pieces of poop these companies were. They're putting a buy on it. They're telling their customers to buy it. They're selling it to their customers. Morgan Stanley buys Dean Witter so they can sell all of these garbage companies to mom and pop investors and get their bigger clients out. Shall I go on? Again, this is what Wall Street does. You need to understand that and get your arms around that. Anyway. Moving on. We talked about that Greensill Capital that went under. Yeah, SoftBank was a big investor in this company. And you take a look at the high-profile politicians, in particular, UK politicians that were working for this company. And it happens all the time. You see, you leave politics, whether it be in the UK, whether it be in the EU, whether it be here. You always land on your feet. They'll find you a job somewhere. And they will find you a high-paying job somewhere. I remember Jeb Bush, governor of Florida. He termed out. All of a sudden, he's working at Barclays Bank. Doing what? I don't know. Shaking hands, showing up to golf outings, I guess. But anyway, I don't know if you saw this. The governor of West Virginia, Jim Justice, he was a Democrat. He turned Republican. He personally signed off on $700 million in these loans from Greensill. He's personally liable for this. Again, he was worth over, he's a wealthy guy, he was a billionaire, he was worth over $1 billion. Was. His main asset is their coal. And again, obviously, those assets have dropped with Biden in the White House. How's he going to come up with this money? I don't know. I don't know. He also owns the Greenbrier as well. Wanted to touch on this quickly because I did get some emails in regard to this. People, oh, my God, this is terrible. They're going to share all this information. This is going to be awful. Whoa. I am critical of tech companies, and we've gone off on tech companies here on the program. But I'm going to be honest with you, I like this deal. Google actually struck a deal with hospital chains to develop healthcare algorithms. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. Okay? When doctors are faced with certain cases, and let's say they might not understand it, okay, or there might be something out of the norm, if you can gather information from other doctors that went through the same exact scenario, how it was treated, it's obviously going to be beneficial to the patient. You're sharing information. This is good. This is important when it comes to healthcare. I know a lot of people, oh my God, they're going to share all this. Who cares? Who cares? They signed a deal with HCA. And you're basically going to use patient records in order to better the experience, make it better for you. So again, I know a lot of people freaked out. They hear the word Google and they start freaking out. When technology is used for a purpose like this is a very good thing. Quickly on, again, this is a bit of a New York-centric story where restaurants all around the country are now doing much, much better. Guess what? The ones in New York are not. That's right. Everybody else is going through the roof. New York City restaurants are doing crappy. They're still down 30%. Again, I could be me, call me crazy, but, you might want to make the city safe first before I feel like going out to dinner there again. Just saying. Might be a step in the right direction. Maybe we want to stop canceling the police, huh? WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street.